Cloud computing outside. Classic Empire head-to-head down to the line. Cloud computing wins the Preakness.
Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Nicole, Russo. Welcome to Keeneland Babies, presented by Spendthrift, our Keeneland Baby race for Wednesday, April the 14th. Well, let's take a look at the field for race number 4. We kick off a 50-cent pick 5 at Keeneland. Spendthrift stallion Jimmy Creed is represented by the number 7, Angusonic. Nicole, I guess the big news last week is Wesley Ward got on the board.
Yeah, Wesley Ward on Sunday with Chi-Town Lady finally got on the board, sort of righting the ship at this Keeneland meet. He had some 2-year-olds run well without winning, and I think really what it underlined was how important the break is in these 2-year-old races. He had some horses come in, just looking loaded for bear and miss, maybe half an inch at the break, and that can make the whole difference in these 4.5 furlong baby races.
Ward is the morning line favorite in this race, the number 6, Happy Soul, as well as the number 10, Nakatomi, the second choice on the line at 4-1. We'll take this field in program number order. We have a couple of coupled entries. The number 1 is Atta Boy Anthony. What can you tell us about this stallion?
Well, I had to go and look up the stallion Caroon, who's a multiple stakes-winning dirt router in Venezuela. Only a couple of runners for him so far, 0 for 2 with his debut runners. Caroon has an American-type pedigree. He's by Arch, whose sons at stud, of course, include the likes of Blame. He's out of an old Trieste mare. It's the family of some familiar graded stakes winners in recent years, like Max Player, International Star. But overall, as a stallion, he looks like the type of horse where his foals are going to want to go longer and might need a little bit of time to mature.
And it looks like the number 1, Atta Boy Anthony, has been working in company with the 1A, Junior's Gift. Several of the workouts match up. Junior's Gift is also by Caroon. You look at this pedigree, a lot of distance and a lot of turf on the bottom. I'm going to take a wait-and-see approach.
Absolutely with this one as well. As we said, Caroon kind of has that look of a horse where his foals are going to need some distance. And there's a lot of distance on a couple of surfaces in this family for Junior's Gift.
Number 2 is About to Rage. Dialed In just got himself on the Kentucky Derby trail, Nicole, with a big win in the Arkansas Derby. This colt by Dialed In didn't attract any attention as a weanling, but there is some sprint and precocity in the female family.
Absolutely. And, I think Dialed In is an underrated stallion. He's very consistent, especially might be underrated with his 2-year-olds. Superstock, you just mentioned, the Arkansas Derby winner, was a stakes performer last year at age 2. Dialed In was among the leading freshman sires in his class with his first 2-year-olds.
Number 3 and breaking from the rail is Worrier. And this horse is bred both sides for speed by Fast Anna, who clicks at 15% with 2-year-old first-time starters. This is the family of Aconite and the broodmare sire. Yes, it's true, a source of speed.
Absolutely. I see speed top and bottom in this family. Fast Anna was a pretty quick horse where it's really awfully sad that 3 Chimneys lost him so young. I thought he had the makeup to be a very nice stallion, a very well-bred and fast horse. You're putting him over a Yes, It's True mare from the family of Aconite. You mentioned he's a multiple graded winning dirt sprinter. He was also multiple grade 1 placed as a 2-year-old, a very precocious horse.
Breaking from post position 2 is the number 4, Cheyenne Wind. And Cheyenne Wind should be fit. This one has been working regularly at McCutcheon Farm since mid-February. Only a $1,000 yearling by Speedster. You go way back in this family, there's some class.
Absolutely. Closer up, the Speedsters, they sold well last year, his first crop of 2-year-olds. I thought they'd be nice 2-year-olds. He's off to a solid start, 14% with his 2-year-old first-time starters. You definitely see speed on top of the family and class on the bottom.
Number 5, Lieutenant Finn is my first crop stallion, War Correspondent. War Correspondent, lots of turf and distance in this pedigree. What are we supposed to expect for this one?
Definitely turf and distance. from him himself, but he is by Warfront, who can sire a good 2-year-old going shorter. So I'll be interested to see what sort of qualities of that Warfront Danzig sire line come out in the War Correspondence. This is the first foal out of an unplaced mare. It is the family of a Grade 1 winning sprinter.
Up next is our morning line favorite and likely favorite at post time, the number 6 Happy Soul, trained by Wesley Ward. This is a filly taking on the boys. As we've said many times on our Keeneland Babies videos, we don't worry about that too much. These fillies are very precocious this time of the year. Run Happy got off to a slow start last year. It appears he's riding the ship. This dam has been very productive.
Absolutely. And I love that female family to balance out Run Happy a little bit. You mentioned a slow start, but, Tom Ryan, who's, involved with SF Bloodstock, he made a really great comment about Run Happy this week that I'd like to quote here. He said, "People confuse speed with precocity. Run Happy was a very fast horse, so people expected him to fire quickly with his 2-year-olds, but Run Happy really came to hand the second half of his 3-year-old year, and I think we're seeing that from his foals, that they take a little bit of time and experience to develop."
Number 7 is Angusonic. Trainer Paul McEntee isn't known for winning first out, but he has sent out some very live 2-year-olds at this meet. He just hasn't gotten to the winner's circle just yet. This one's by Spendthrift stallion Jimmy Creed, who does very well with 2-year-old first-time starters, 17%. And there is some speed and class on the bottom of this pedigree, perhaps a long shot to keep an eye on.
I definitely think so. You see further back in the family, it's the family of a Grade 1 winning turf router, CS Silk, but closer up you see speed on the dirt, including the Dam, who was a winning sprinter, and Jimmy Creed, very good 2-year-old sire, very underrated sire across the board in general.
Tim Ham, a very underrated trainer, trains the number 8, San Costantino, by the stalwart 2-year-old first-time stallion Violence. He wins 18%, does Violence. Big gate work on April the 6th, bullet and 47 and change.
Yeah, and I love that gate work. As we mentioned again at the top of the program, one of the themes here on Keeneland Babies is that you've got to get away from the gate well. So I definitely like horses where I can see that they're developing that ability on their work tab. Violence, very quick 2-year-old sire. His 2-year-olds are actually lighting it up at the Breeze Show for the OBS spring sale of 2-year-olds in training right now. They're quick horses.
Knock Her Down, the number 9, goes out for trainer Travis Murphy. You can get a winner with a first-time starter, and this one is by Cairo Prince, who's rock solid with his juvenile debut runners. The dam's a half-sister to a Champagne winner.
Yeah, so some 2-year-old ability, definitely top and bottom of the pedigree. You mentioned Cairo Prince has been so good with his 2-year-olds. Very nice sprint sire as well, kind of an outlier from his family. Knock Her Down, though, has just 2 works on the work tab. Of course, we don't know what sort of training the horse is doing between and after the works. But, I'm wondering if this one they're intending to race fit a little bit and just kind of get his feet wet here.
Nakatomi, the number 10, the, quote, other Wesley Ward horse. But this one gets Joel Rosario for the career debut. Firing Line still looking for his first debut winner, but there is some ability on the bottom of this pedigree. The dam's a half to a juvenile graded stakes place router in KD's Shady Lady.
There is. And, I really thought highly of Firing Line as a racehorse. He's a terrific physical. I really like what I've seen from some of his foals. Just as we pointed out a couple of times with his runners at this meet, not really a first-time starter winning sire.
The number 11 is Baytown Warrior. This one is by First Samurai, who's an average juvenile debut stallion. Dam won her career debut as well as another sprint race, and she's a half to 4 black type earners. So there is some ability in this pedigree. Tough outside post.
Yeah, it is a difficult outside post. You mentioned that First Samurai is just sort of average as a first-time starting sire, but he was a very good 2-year-old himself. It's a classy family. It's a racehorse family, the Dam a winning sprinter.
To Be Valiant Charges on the also eligible list, so we will move on to our top selections to kick off a 50-cent pick 5 at Keeneland on Wednesday. You're going with Angusonic, the 7.
Yeah, I thought looking at it that this race was pretty wide open on paper. So I'm going to try to go with a little bit of a price with Angusonic by the Spendthrift stallion Jimmy Creed. As I said, a very, very underrated stallion, and speed and ability on both sides of this family.
I think Angusonic's very interesting. That's my second selection. San Costantino is where I'm going to go off that bullet gate work. Tim Ham does nice work with his first-time starters. Violence does nice work with his first-time starters. Maybe we could beat Wesley, although I have a feeling he's starting to get hot. 8752 for me, 7825 for Nicole. Keeneland Babies for Wednesday, April the 14th, presented by Spendthrift.